The greatest boxing card in human history has been announced. Bivol versus Beterbiev 2 is without a doubt the most stacked card of all time, in my opinion. Certainly my lifetime anyway. I have never seen a card this stacked, top to bottom. Let's start off with the main event, Beterbiev versus Bivol 2. Thankfully, this is for Undisputed. Thankfully, the IBF haven't came in and ruined this Undisputed fight like they done with the rematch for Fury Usyk. Thankfully, this stays as Undisputed. Now, this rematch needed to happen. Sorry, their first fight was extremely close. In my opinion, Beterbiev did do enough to get the job done, but it kind of came down to in that fight, what did you prefer? In my opinion, Beterbiev being the one constantly on the front foot, outworking Bivol in terms of volume, was what got it over the line for him, in my opinion, especially in the later stages of the fight. However, some people did see it for Bivol, but what I will say is the rematch, I'm going for Bivol. I think Bivol will beat Beterbiev this time round. It was an extremely close fight. What Bivol needs to do, which I think he will do in this fight, is he needs to be a bit more aggressive. Not stay in the pocket necessarily and trade with Beterbiev. But when Bivol picked his shots, picked his moments to attack in the original fight, when he started to let flurries of shots go, he was landing on Beterbiev, constantly landing on him. And I feel like Bivol, if he comes into the fight kind of with the same game plan but just a bit more volume, a bit more those punches and bunches, but a bit more frequent, I feel like he'll do enough to beat Beterbiev in my opinion. But again, this fight is extremely close. I cannot wait. This is the best card ever. Like, Christmas is came early, the Os's fight fans. What are we saying about the Christmas jumper though? Whew. But yeah, stacked card. Beterbiev, Bivol 2, main event. Like I said, my early prediction is Bivol on points for this one. Next up in the co-main event, this is ridiculous. Like, this could all these fights could headline their own card, but this one in particular, Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker for the IBF world title. Daniel Dubois right now is on a generational run. Like, the names that this guy has faced in the short span of time, like, it's just ridiculous. So Usyk, Jarrell Miller, Hrgovic, Anthony Joshua, and now Joseph Parker. I'm being quiet so you can think on that. Name me, like, outside of Usyk, Daniel Dubois is clearly the number 2 right now. Clearly. Like, no one else has been in the fights that Daniel Dubois has been in, back to back to back to back. Not Fury, not AJ. You know, Daniel Dubois in his last 4-5 fights, none of them have been layups, not one. And this time round, after knocking out Anthony Joshua in front of nearly 90,000 at Wembley, I was there for it. Unbelievable performance from Daniel Dubois. He then gets the blessing from the IBF to essentially pick whoever he wants to fight, and he picks the hardest option available to him in Joseph Parker. Now, Joseph Parker is coming off that win over Zhilei Zhang, who's also on this card, but like I said, Joseph Parker, he's coming into the form of his life. He is a former champion. I do feel like now he's much better than what he was back then. I don't think he's going to beat Daniel Dubois, to be honest. Yes, I think at parts Joseph Parker might be able to outbox Daniel Dubois, because I do feel like technically Joseph Parker is the better fighter. But I feel like at this stage now in Daniel Dubois' career, to have success against him, and I know Anthony Joshua got beat by him, but it is someone like an AJ or a Bakoli. I feel like to have success against Daniel Dubois now, you have to be able to put a dent in him. You have to be able to stop him, because he will not stop coming forward. Obviously these guys are heavyweights, anything can happen. I don't think Joseph Parker is that big of a puncher where he's gonna. He can obviously earn the respect of Daniel Dubois. But what I'm saying is, the likes of an AJ Bakoli, all these big punchers, I feel like those guys have a better chance of beating Daniel Dubois than what Joseph Parker does. Now, like I said, I do feel like Joseph Parker will pick up rounds by outboxing Daniel Dubois, but I don't feel like Joseph Parker will do enough to keep Daniel Dubois off him, and I feel like Daniel Dubois will stop Joseph Parker in and around the 10th round. That's my prediction. Next up, we've got Shakur Stevenson coming back off an injury against Floyd Schofield for the WBC World Lightweight title. I thought this was meant to be Cepeda, but Anyway, not happening. Shakur Stevenson getting back in there. Floyd Schofield, I feel like this is going to be a tough fight for Shakur Stevenson. This is definitely not a walkover for him. Although I do think Shakur Stevenson will win this. I think he will win on points. I just feel like he is better than Floyd Schofield in my opinion. Next up, for the WBC World Middleweight Championship, Carlos Adames versus Hamza Shiraz. Now, we all know how much Riyadh Season, Turki Al Sheikh love Hamza Shiraz. And this right here is such a tough fight for him. Now, Hamza Shiraz is coming off that absolute demolition job over Tyler Denny. Yeah, that was his last fight at Wembley. This is a really big step up for Hamza Shiraz, in my opinion. This is going to be a tough fight. But in my opinion, Hamza Shiraz is the real deal. And I think he's going to get the job done here. I think he will beat Carlos Adames. I do feel like he will have to come through a bit of adversity in there. I don't feel like he's going to get his entire way for the entirety of the fight. I do feel like it will be close. But I think Hamza Shiraz will get the job done in this matchup. Have a funny feeling this one's going to go to the cards and Hamza Shiraz is going to win. Although I do feel like it will be closer than what the scorecards say, if you know what I mean. I feel like when the scorecards are being read out, we're going to be sitting there going like, fuck, were they watching the same fight as us? Like, it wasn't that far apart. But anyway, Hamza Shiraz is going to win that one. Next up, Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov for the WBC World Interim Super Welterweight Championship. Is Israel Madrimov not meant to be fighting on the Tyson Fury Usyk 2 card? Because if he is fighting then, he's definitely not fighting Virgil Ortiz in February, in my opinion. That's just not going to happen. Now, I thought this fight was going to be Jaron Ennis. There was a lot of talk about that it was going to be Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. I don't know what's happened. Maybe if Israel Madrimov is fighting on the Usyk Fury card, maybe they just wanted to have Ortiz versus somebody on the fight poster, and then maybe it might turn and it might be Jaron Ennis, but I think I'm reaching there, to be honest. I think it is going to be Israel Madrimov versus Virgil Ortiz. I'm taking Israel Madrimov to win this matchup. The guy went to the death with Terence Crawford, lost by split decision. Terence Crawford is a top 2 pound for pounder, top 3 pound for pounder right now in boxing. Israel Madrimov is the real deal, slick boxer. I think he's going to beat Virgil Ortiz. Next up, for the vacant WBC interim heavyweight title, we have got Zhilei Zhang versus Kabayel. This one, banger. Big banger. Now look, this is the best card, like I said. The only thing that I would have maybe changed is Zhilei Zhang versus Bakuli, but that's just me being a dick and just trying to pick at things. Overall, great card. Zhilei Zhang, Kabayel, tough one. See, Zhilei Zhang, his last performance was against Deontay Wilder, and he did finish him. But is Deontay Wilder cooked? You know what? I'm going Zhilei Zhang. I still believe in him. I think he's going to get the job done here. And starting off this card, Joshua Buatsi, Callum Smith for the WBO interim light heavyweight title. Now, what I will say, again, now this is nothing on Riyadh Season, but where the fuck is Anthony Yard? Why is he not on this card? Nonetheless, though, Callum Smith, obviously coming off that 5-rounder there on the weekend, got not a big win. He was meant to win that. Dust off the cobwebs, back into camp against Joshua Buatsi, who's coming off that big win over Hutchinson. This right here is a really close one, in my opinion. This is really hard to pick. I'm probably leaning towards Buatsi at the minute, but my opinion could change. This is such a stacked card. I cannot wait to watch this. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.